Muhammad Ali Tahiri, founder of Halqa Gnosticism, has gone on a hunger strike in order to protest against the sabotaging of the cases by investigators and interrogators. Muhammad Ali Tahiri is now in Section 2A of Evin prison due to his religious beliefs, and so far there is no information about his physical state. During the past few days, his family have been prevented from visiting him. Following the transfer of 10 political prisoners from Section 350 to solitary confinement, more than 25 individuals from Section 350 have refused to visit their families. For many occasions during the past week, a group of residents of Shahran, Zone 5 of the city of Tehran, have gathered in front of the City Council building to protest against cutting down the trees, destruction of Asiya Park, and ignoring warnings given by the City Council about construction. Mrs. Shireen Ebadi has brought the attention of judicial authorities and prisons organizations about the health and well-being of prisoners and warned them that, in the event of any incident to the prisoners, officials will be responsible and in some cases, criminal prosecutions could be applied. According to published reports, residents of Bastak town in the Hormozgan province got into conflict with the police. In this conflict, which was about civil divisions, a few motorbikes of the regime's agents were set on fire, and also a few residences were wounded. The protesters also closed the road leading from Bastak to Bandar Lange. Furthermore, following the protests to support members of the International Organization to Preserve Human Rights in Iran, in continuation of detention of political, ideological and religious prisoners, particularly imprisonment of Gonabadi dervishes and their lawyers in Evin prison of Tehran and Adilabad prison of Shiraz, we would like to draw your attention to the protests of this human rights organization in Hanover. Despite the pressures from authorities, on Wednesday the 1st of May, the syndicate members of the 5'th company gathered at their bus terminals, distributed gifts and sweets to all workers to celebrate Labour's Day, and then made their way to Azadi Square holding banners while singing the national anthem and taking photos. Hutan Kian, a lawyer of the Justice Department who has been detained since mid-September 2013 and is in the worst conditions, wrote a letter to his lawyer, Mr. Nari Mahmoudi, whom due to security reasons is outside of Iran. In this letter, as well as describing tortures and sufferings that he has been going through, he requests his lawyer to expose the facts that unlawful executions by hanging and stoning in Tabriz prison are taking place and being covered and hidden by the intelligence officers. The United States Commission on Religious Freedom stated in its 2013 report that the rights to religious freedom in Iran is violated in the worst way, alongside other countries such as Iraq, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan.
The son of Riaz Sobhani, a Baha'i citizen, said, "Considering the age of his father, he is in a poor mental and physical condition. Riaz Sobhani is in prison since June 2011, being accused of financial assistance to Baha'is Online University." On Tuesday, 30th April 2013, in Kavar city, 3 Goranbadi dervishes called Muhammad Ali Sadeghi, Muhammad Ali Dehqan, and Mohsen Ismaili have been arrested without presence of any official justical ruling. According to their families, these dervishes were detained by resorting to force, fear and violence. Families of detained dervishes are concerned about the state of their health. Elham Ruzbei, a Baha'i citizen living in the city of Esfahan, who was sentenced to 2 years in prison, last week was transferred to the court of Semnan with her infant baby. 21 representatives of the government of Iran signed a petition showing concern about the deviant sects and false mysticism in Iran, emphasizing and confronting them as harshly as possible and demanding banning their activities and sentencing their members to imprisonment and flogging.
On Saturday 27th of April, Vahid Sheikh Beglu, a civil activist and a student who is excluded from studying, was sent to the central prison of Tabriz to serve 1-year sentence. On Friday the 26th of April, 4 prisoners that were accused of being involved in drug trafficking were hanged in the central prison of the city of Kerman. On Sunday the 28th of April, Qasem B. and Hadi K.H., 2 prisoners accused of drug trafficking, were both hanged in Veramin. In continuation to the summoning and arresting of Arab activists in different parts of Iran, on Saturday the 20th of April, Adel Simri and Majid Bavi were arrested in the city of Ahvaz. On Wednesday the 24th of April, Mr. Abdul Rahim Muafian, head of the Cooperation Council of the Reformist of Fars and manager of Ehsan's Cultural Center, was arrested by the security forces. There is yet no information about his whereabouts. The security forces raided Dargagah village of the city of Sarv Abad and arrested 4 Kurdish citizens named Ruhollah Haydari, Avat Haydari, Kayvan Haydari, and Ahmad Habibi. Behzad Arabgul, a construction worker, veteran of Iran-Iraq War, and a chief of Zone 4 of Mir Hassan Musavi Regiment, on Tuesday the 30th of April was arrested and summoned to Evin prison. On Sunday 28th of April, Hamid Khoshnam, who was charged with murder, was executed in the central prison of Zahedan. Omid Sajjadi from Bandar Abbas was executed on the 22nd of March. He was charged with carrying and keeping illegal drugs. The night before the execution, he unsuccessfully attempted suicide by trying to cut his own neck artery and hence cause severe injury. Nevertheless, the execution still carried out in the central prison of Bandar Abbas with the injured neck. On Wednesday the 24th of March, a group in Kulbaran Sardasht region ambushed military forces of Islamic Republic of Iran, which led to Nasser Ali Khani, one villager from Islamabad, getting severely injured. Asel Samiri and Majid Bavi, two civil activists, were arrested in Ahvaz city on the 29th of April. Two people who were charged with rape were executed on Sunday the 10th of April in Mashhad city prison. Mustafa Bani Sharif, an environmental and social political activist from the city of Char Mahal Bakhtiyari, was arrested on Tuesday the 30th of April. On Tuesday the 30th of April, security officers arrested 6 Azerbaijani cultural activists in the city of Tabriz. Hassan Tarlani, an imprisoned student in Kerman prison who went on medical leave before 21st of March, has returned to the prison following a rejection to his request for extension of leave. According to reports, the academic director of the National Institute of Fashion and Dress signed a contract for a design of student clothing, Panya, by this foundation and the University of Az-Zahra, and pointed out some details of the plan. Reports indicate that the reformist newspaper Asr Zuhur has been banned by the prosecutor of the Specialist Clergy Court of Kerman on Saturday the 27th of April. Printed and written materials associated with a picture of Mohammad Khatami, Iran's former president candidacy, in a special New Year issue of the magazine was the cause of the suspension of this local reformist press. Following the summoning of Yaqub Khezri, journalist, blogger, cultural activist, and student, in response to a court sentence, Mr. Khezri was sent to Mahabad prison. Furthermore, Shadiyar Omrani, writer, freelance journalist, and a translator who cooperates with Persian language media abroad by pseudonym Shuresh Raha, has been summoned to explain herself on some issues. Mrs. Omrani has links and collaboration with Iranian Christians in production of news, reports, and articles. For the third consecutive year running, the non-state publisher, Kavir, was banned from participating in this year's International Book Fair by the Ministry of Culture. On Friday, the 26th of April, Muhammad Jafar Mohammadzadeh, the Deputy Minister of Culture, reported the increase of surveillances and control of Ministry of Culture over the media in the next 2 months.
Mahabad Livestock Corporation is one of the industrial productive organizations which has been affected by recession in Kurdistan, and despite 17 to 26 years of experience of summer workers, no payment has been made for the past 16 months. Furthermore, in the previous week, the condition of Ghalib Hosseini and Ali Azad, two detained labor activists, are unknown. It is worth mentioning that the interrogation of these two activists have ended, but the authorities of the Intelligence Bureau have refused the referral of their cases to courts and are also refusing any legally required answers to their families. The Zarine factory of Qesh in Hormozgan County has been having difficulties in production. According to the manager of the company, this is due to the poor quality of the soil. As a result of this, 80 workers have been dismissed since the beginning of the Persian year. Furthermore, Zamzam Fizzy Drink Factory of Eastern Tehran, by announcing liquidation of the factory, would stop functioning, making 500 workers unemployed. Over 1,000 employees of Jabal Bar factory in Bandar Abbas have lost their jobs in this factory. Reports indicate that, following the protest of the workers of the copper melting plants for many days in Khatunabad, which has started on 24th April 2013, a special official agents closed the factory permanently. Furthermore, 7 workers of the sugar factory in Sanandaj, with experiences ranging 4 to 14 years, have been fired due to the high prices of raw materials. On the morning of 30th April, 80 landscaping workers of District 2 municipality of Ahvaz, in protest to not receiving any payment for the past year, had gathered in front of the construction building office. Sayyid Musa Mir Jahanmardi, the manager of the labor house in Bushehr, indicated that the Rangi-Kahr factory in Bushehr, with more than 100 workers, is on the verge of bankruptcy due to the numerous environmental warnings. The head of the Association of Islamic Council of Qazvin Province announced that salaries and wages of the employees of 60 manufacturing units have been postponed between 2 to 24 months. On Saturday 27th April 2013, the employees of one of the most important companies in the city of Kermanshah have gone on hunger strike due to the late payment of salaries and wages, mismanagement and the bad behavior, i.e. insulting and humiliating of the managers towards staff. Hassan Saidi, one of the independent activists of the bus company of Tehran, was fired from his job following a vote by the Committee of Cooperatives of the Office of Resolution of Dispute, Labor and Social Welfare in the northwest of Tehran. According to the received reports, on 29th and 30th April 2013, number of labor activists, namely Muhammad Abdo Abadpour, Jamil Rostkediv, Omar Shakeri, and Ismail Niazi, of citizens of Saqqez, were threatened and summoned to custody over the telephone. On Wednesday 1st May 2013, at least 12 workers of the copper factory of Khatunabad in the city of Babak were arrested by the Security Council of the Kerman province. During the past week, following the aim and ambition to create a gendered society, Farahani, the chairman of Iran's Post Bank, announced the opening of a female branch of the bank. Furthermore, Maryam Alangi, the wife of Mohsen Dogmechi, a political prisoner who passed away in Rajai Shahr prison due to cancer, was summoned to Evin prison to serve 3 years of imprisonment. A trial was declared in the court against Maryam Alangi after she organized a funeral and conducted interviews with the media about the death of her husband. Hossein Mahjoub, the General Secretary of the Workers, said that the Labour House is not the official centre to announce the employment and unemployment statistics. However, unemployment, especially amongst the females, has increased, and according to the official statistics centre, women's unemployment has doubled in recent years. The authorities of the Court of Justice in Tehran have disagreed with the leave of Mehdi Tajik, a former student and activist. Mehdi Tajik, who is being sentenced to 27 months of imprisonment with punishment, went to Evin prison on February 2013 to serve his sentence. He has now been kept in section 350 of Evin prison. Furthermore, Hossein Ali Amiri, a member of the Guardian Council, announced on Saturday, 27th April, that a new Islamic penal code has been ratified. Reports received from Evin prison indicate that 10 political prisoners, namely Saeed Madani, Abdullah Momeni, Abulfazl Abedini Nasr, Siamak Qaderi, Amir Khosrow Delir Sani, Muhammad Hassan Yusufpur Saifi, Saeed Abedini, Kamran Ayazi, Muhammad Ibrahimi, and Purya Ibrahimi, on Sunday 28th of April, have been sent from section 350 to solitary confinements. Due to neglect of the authorities of Evin prison and Court of Justice in Tehran, visual condition of Yaqub Malaki, one of the prisoners of the section 350 of Evin prison, has been endangered. According to the reports received, Vice President of the House Judiciary Committee, Hamidreza Tabatabai, has told, stoning was not removed from the new penal code, but its implementation has been changed. Mehdi Motamedi Mehr, a member of a freedom movement in Iran, is held illegally in Section 209 since last March. According to the reports received, Khosrow Kadivar, a human rights activist and head of the Mokrian news agency, has been on hunger strike since 1st of April. Hossein Rahimi, the head of traffic police of the Greater Tehran, has announced that those with improper hijab, molesters of chastity, and noise pollution makers in cars will face a 3-week ban on driving. Iranian police announced a new program to deal with women's clothing and said those vehicles that carry mannequins will be banned. Ali Akbar Ismailpour, a member of Children's Rights Protection in Iran, has warned that the situation of children in Iran has become intricate.